Welcome to another Splatoon 2 video on the channel. The Octo Expansion DLC was such a great experience for fans and non-fans of the Splatoon universe. The story was just so brilliant, it really was. I really did enjoy the amount of new lore details we got in the DLC. I really did enjoy that aspect of the DLC. But there were some hidden lore details in the DLC that are quite hard to spot. So what we'll be doing in this video is going through all of the hidden lore details that were in the Octo Expansion DLC that are quite hard to spot. Nintendo definitely done a really great job in terms of linking aspects of the DLC to stuff that has been previously mentioned in the first game and the second game as well. So what we'll be doing in this video is going through all of the hidden lore details, and yeah, me going through all of the hidden lore details, like me doing the research for this video. It has definitely made me enjoy the Octo Expansion even more. It has definitely made me appreciate the DLC even more. So hopefully by the end of this video you will feel the same way as what I am right now. Now, if you haven't completed the DLC yet, I will be starting off with a spoiler. I will give you a few seconds to click away from this video before I do go into the first hidden lore detail, which is about the final boss battle. Now that the people that haven't completed the DLC have hopefully clicked away from this video by the time that I do go into the first lore detail, but pretty much in the final boss battle, Pearl uses her voice to destroy Tartar. This is a cool reference to the sunken scroll we got in the single player for Splatoon 2. In that sunken scroll, it does show a young Pearl at a singing contest, and her voice did destroy elements around her. That is a nice cool link between the single player and the Octo Expansion DLC. So that is a nice cool lore detail that is sort of hidden away. I'm sure you guys have already sort of noticed that if you have already played the single player. But for people that don't necessarily pay attention to like the sunken scrolls that you can unlock in the single player, this is a nice cool lore detail from the Octo Expansion. Now, in a recent interview with Famitsu, Nagami did talk about how Pearl's voice can be strong and destructive, which is why she practiced her singing in a remote location, which is Mount Nantai, which we learned about from Marie's dialogue and the chat room in Octo Expansion, and that is where Pearl first met Marina. Again, that is another example of Nintendo linking what we have learned about in the single player and I guess through updates for Splatoon 2 and the DLC as well. I guess those aren't necessarily hidden lore details, so let's get into more hidden lore details than what I have talked about so far in this video. If you lose all of your CQ points in the DLC, Pearl will let you borrow 3,000 CQ points from her dad. If you lose those 3,000 points, you can borrow 3,000 more from Pearl's dad, but you can't take on the secret boss until you do clear your debts. This is a cool reference to how Pearl's family has a lot of money from owning the gear brand Emperor. We know that Pearl's family built and owns Camp Triggerfish and owns a gym membership to Muscle Forge Fitness, where Pearl and Marina both say that the membership costs an arm and a leg. So we know that Pearl's family are quite rich. We have recently had an interview with Pearl in the Octotune soundtrack where she gave a tour of her mansion that her family does live in. So the fact that you do get 3,000 CQ points, which are really expensive, the fact that you do get those points from Pearl's dad, that is a cool reference to how Pearl's family is rich. Marina has DJ Octavio and Squid Sisters logos on her laptop. Maybe she has DJ Octavio's logo on her laptop because she did spend a lot of time under DJ Octavio and was a chief engineer for the Octarians. Maybe she has the Squid Sisters logo on her laptop. Maybe that is a reference to her witnessing the final boss battle in Splatoon 1, where you had calamari incantation play, and that did change Marina's outlook on life in general. The Squid Sisters logo on her laptop shows that she idolizes the Squid Sisters and basically pays attention to that final boss battle. Again, that could be a reference to a sunken scroll we got in the single player for Splatoon 2, where we get to see Marina witnessing the final boss battle in Splatoon 1, and basically it does show the impact of calamari incantation on Octolings, including Marina. Maybe that Squid Sisters logo could be a reference to that sunken scroll from the single player. Now, on the Deep Sea Metro, you can find a magazine on one of the walls, and that will take you back to Inkopolis Square. But it does have a deeper meaning in terms of the lore than just taking you back to Inkopolis Square. What I will be doing now is just reading the official description of that magazine, just because it will describe the magazine better than what I will do. So yeah, I'm just going to read out the official description for the magazine. It's a magazine that Octolings who have calamari incantation etched into their soul read over and over as much as they can. They treat it like their Bible, and even though they've never been to Inkopolis Square, it helps them paint a nice picture of what it must be like. So Octolings who have listened to calamari incantation, they read through the magazine as it gives them a good idea of what Inkopolis Square is like, and of course that is their ultimate goal. They want to get to Inkopolis Square, so anything that they can find out about their dream, about their destination and their sort of goal that they want to get to, they will read through it time and time again. So that is kind of interesting how that magazine, that pretty much is just a way for us to get back to Inkopolis Square. It has a deeper meaning than that, and pretty much it is a Bible for the Octolings that have listened to calamari incantation. I definitely did enjoy reading about that magazine and the deeper lore detail that is under the surface than, you know, just going back to Inkopolis Square from the Deep Sea Metro and, you know, playing through the Octo Expansion. Leading on from that, the mem cakes that you can unlock in the Octo Expansion are Agent 8's thoughts. Some of them are based on experience and memory, while others are thoughts about what Agent 8 imagines Inkopolis to look like. Those thoughts are inspired by the Inkopolis magazine that I was just talking about, that can be found in the Deep Sea Metro. So the mem cakes where Agent 8 hasn't necessarily experienced that yet, that is inspired by the Inkopolis magazine. Agent 8's mem cake for Marina are based on memories, but they don't personally know each other. It's just that Marina is a famous, or was a famous, Octarian engineer, and that is how Agent 8 knew of Marina. The reason that test subjects such as Agent 8 receive mem cakes from the facility is because it is supposed to give the test subjects evidence that the promised land is real and that they have existed in it before. The little bit of calamari incantation you can hear in the Deep Sea Metro as you progress through the DLC is to represent Agent 8 getting more of her memories back during the events of the DLC. Moving on to an interesting detail that I don't think many of us knew whilst we did play the Octo Expansion. This is a detail that we did get from the interview with Nogami from Famitsu. When a test subject successfully collected all of the 4 fangs and made their way to the promised land, the fangs were reset to their original places every single time for the next test subject. The sanitized Octarians are created from the goo that can be found in the facility. Now, Nogami has confirmed something that the community has been speculating about, ever since the Octo Expansion did come out in June, and that is the creator of Commander Tartar is the professor shown in Sunken Scrolls 25 from Splatoon 1 and Sunken Scroll 27 from Splatoon 2. This confirms that Tartar was created by the same person that created Judd. We can see what the professor looks like in one of those Sunken Scrolls. The professor that did make Commander Tartar wanted the next intelligent life forms to not repeat the same mistakes that humans did, but the AI spent 10,000 years alone, which caused it to change its reasoning. So Tartar was created with the best intentions. He was never intended to be evil. He was supposed to help the next intelligent life forms, but because Tartar spent all of that time alone, he turned evil. The tentacle sticking out of Commander Tartar when it's covered in goo is the remnants of a blended octopus. The same goo is attached to Agent 3, and that is when we do battle Agent 3. That is, of course, before we do face Commander Tartar in the final boss battle. These next few lore details are details that I did feature in another video, but I thought I would repeat those details in this video in case you did miss out on the video that I did first include these details in. So in that interview with Famitsu, Nagami confirms that other Octolings other than Agent 8 came to Inkopolis through a different route than Agent 8. For example, Marina, she didn't go through the Deep Sea Metro to get to Inkopolis. She went through Mount Nantai, and that is where she met Pearl, and then Pearl took her to Inkopolis. The events of Octo Canyon and Octo Expansion happen around about the same time. As squids are easygoing, they didn't notice the Octolings coming, and like what I said in that video where I did first mention that detail, it's nice to put the Octo Expansion in terms of the timeline and the events of what happens in Splatoon 2. It's nice to know when the Octo Expansion takes place in the timeline. Agent 8 doesn't respawn and does die if the player is splatted during the escape phase. In multiplayer battles and other test stations, your player gets resurrected at the respawn point, but if you die during the escape phase and choose to continue, you will simply just rewind to a time where Agent 8 is still alive. Passengers on the Deep Sea Metro use flip phones compared to Inkopolis Square residents who use smartphones. This is to symbolise the fact that passengers on the Deep Sea Metro are lower class citizens compared to residents in Inkopolis Square. They are on the ground level and the passengers are of course lower down, which again symbolises the fact that passengers on the Deep Sea Metro are lower class compared to residents in Inkopolis Square. The other creatures on the train aren't necessarily test subjects. Also, Padre did try out the process. The Deep Sea Metro is like a university town created by Kamebo or Kamabo Corporation. There is a society built there. Different passengers are riding to different locations, such as there being a school for students and a business area as well. Kamebo or Kamabo Corporation manages both the infrastructure as well as doing the experiments. And the last hidden lore detail that I will be including in this video is that Captain Cuttlefish in one of his raps did reveal his age, and that is 130 years old. So there are all of the hidden lore details beyond the surface of us just playing the Octo Expansion DLC. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. I definitely did enjoy making it and researching and learning more about the lore behind the Octo Expansion DLC. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video as well. But that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next video hopefully.